Hey guys, how's it going? So, kind of want to talk a little bit about nationals and just kind of my prep for that. Klaus, how the schnauzer? That fucking loud ass dog. But we're three weeks, almost a month out from nationals, and just kind of close enough to still be like I could still picture all the stages in my head. I can picture pretty much all my stage plans and everything exactly in my head. But far enough out, I've had a chance to kind of think through the match and also see just other people's match videos and things and kind of bring me full circle on that. So I guess real quick recap. So for myself, I ended up 6th in carry optics, which was good. My goal for the match was to end up in the top 15 and shoot 90% of the points. I knew that I could and had hung with top 10 guys throughout the year, and so then as it was kind of like laying itself out. I ended up where I ended up is very good. I shot a very, very well balanced match, and what I mean by that is I could go back today and I could run every one of those stages the same again, because I never felt like I had the pedal on the floor. And I don't mean that in like, oh, I could have finished so much better way. I mean that like all of those stages were run, in the upper levels of capabilities, but within my capabilities. So something that I could repeat over and over and over, which is why I had the balanced, the balanced performance there. Guys who shoot major matches, especially nationals, you're shooting 22 stages. Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, you need to turn in acceptable, good scores on every stage and avoid the big, hills and valleys, on scores on that stuff. So it worked out well. So I'll kind of try to keep this somewhat short, but just kind of some observations, training-wise for myself, things that, worked out well. So I think the biggest positive I have from the year, aside from, I guess, the finish at Nationals, is it's just that, like, where I started the year and where I finished the year skill-wise, you wouldn't know it's the same shooter, which is very good. Just, making that constant progress. Because I did have some kind of ups and downs. I never did win a major match in carry optics this year. I shot major matches against other really good dudes, so that's just how it works, but... prior to the season, I was like, oh yeah, there should be a couple of these you can definitely, can definitely snag. But probably a couple of the biggest changes that I made is that one, I kept with my shooting live 2 days a week, and I switched to where Fridays I go out and Friday's like my technical day. So for lack of a better term, I guess, Klaus, night. So something working on, like, technical skill, and for me especially, accuracy, and not like group shooting at 25, but like just really up in the alphas in general, like alphas on the move, alphas on targets that are partials, alphas. So, Friday is a very technical day for me, and then Sundays I would usually go out with my buddies, so like Joel and Jeff and Kenny. And you guys, I've got a bunch of videos on my Instagram or Facebook, the types of, like kind of stage mimicking things that we do. So we'll do a setup where we usually have, 4, 5, 6 targets, a couple steels. We might set out a couple walls, a couple barrels, things like that. And once we set it up, the targets never move, but we will, so I've got 4 mags on my belt. So like we will pick a place to start and we will pick an order, and I'll run that through 4 times. So basically once per mag. Then we'll go score the targets and everything. And then once everybody does it, then we'll pick a new spot. The targets never move, but we'll say, okay, now we're going to start over here, or we're going to start with our hands up here, or start, whatever it is, and this is going to be the order. So that's probably the most effing productive thing that I've started to do training wise. Because one, like, man, we'll go through a lot of rounds in a pretty quick succession. But if you think about what we're doing, so we're doing everything that we're expected to perform on stages. So we're obviously we're shooting the targets, partials and open targets, and things like that, with the barrels in the walls and in ports and hard leans and shit like that. Shooting on the move, shooting backing out, shooting while leaning, getting moving on the last round. All those things. We're adding the reload, but now we're also adding things like, skipping targets, remembering stage plans, because obviously since the targets didn't move, you are regularly skipping targets to do our new plans. So, it helps you with your stage planning and stage management, stuff like that. That's been really good. So I would say I probably average about 1,000 rounds a week on that. I frankly don't count what I'm doing. I just go out and shoot. And then as soon as, I basically just listen to my body. As soon as like my body rejects what I'm doing and like it feels like it's not productive, I stop. And it might be 300 rounds, it might be 900 rounds. I would say I'm primarily somewhere around 500 rounds. I definitely had a few days doing transition stuff where by the time I started loading up, I was like, man, that might have been 800 or 900 rounds by the time you finished. Those have been huge. So then another big training one, I guess I should clarify. On Fridays, I pick one drill and I only do one drill. do it the whole day. I'll change up the distances or something like that, but like whatever the drill is that I'm doing, I only do that drill. And so then, as far as other big technical changes that I made, I got this from Joel, who I think got it from Ben, which is that I cover my dots. I put a paster on my dot now, which I think a lot of guys have done, or at least do maybe in their dry fire or something like that. And I started doing that after Area 3. So Area 3 it wasn't really a good match for me. It just, it's like Area 3, everybody kind of knows how it works. Like lots of open targets, but it's a match that requires a lot more discipline than it seems like. Because you have so many open targets, shooting minor power factor, you have to get a lot of alphas, but you also still have to be really fast. Like it is a match made by open shooters for open shooters. So guys shooting major power factor have a huge advantage because they can sacrifice more of those Charlies to keep that high speed that you can't get away with, shooting minor. Didn't finish where I wanted, and just, man, I shot like 16 deltas. My alpha count compared to, I think I ended up fourth, to Jason, who won it, just was not good. So I kind of went back to revamp some stuff. So one of the changes I made was I started covering the dot, and I must have been too dot focused, as opposed to target focused, because, once I put that on there and like my transitions and things all started to get better. And so from Area 3, which was in August, I shot every single training session, every single match after that, to include nationals, with my dot covered up, which was good. It's kind of a funny anecdote. When I was at the chrono table at nationals, so the guy we loaded my pistol and he went to look down there. He's like, "Hey, there's something blocking your dot. I can't shoot this." I was like, "Oh, it's just a paster on there. You just keep both your eyes open." He's like, "Oh, I can't see it." Tries to get to the other guy. And he's like, "Oh, well, I can't see. I can't shoot that thing. We can't shoot it like this." And I was like, "Dude, just open both your eyes and look through there." And I finally eventually figured out how to do it and got it. But Matt, my buddy Matt Hopkins, was behind me, kind of chuckling about that too. But so that was really big, and I have no plans to change that. I mean, I know obviously the idea is that you shouldn't need that, but also like right now for me, having that on there, it's not broke, so I'm not going to fix it. My carry gun, my duty gun, all that stuff, covered up with a paster, no problem there. And then after Area 3, I also shifted to an even more bent elbow position. Like it's kind of been an issue I had, like shooting limited in a polymer gun. I kept pretty straight elbows, which is probably not good, but it's like the only way that felt very natural to kind of control such a snappy gun. It never felt like I had as much control bringing the elbows in, shooting 40 cal in that thing. But so, I really worked on bringing the elbows in more, and then designed a couple of drills basically just to completely reinforce that. Like you guys have seen a couple of those in there, like, well, the video where like I'm falling down doing it. It's that drill, but basically a couple drills designed around that. And then I started like implementing standards for myself, which for me, my standard, like in practice, is any target that has half of the A zone available or more, I need to shoot 90% alphas on that. And if I'm not shooting 90% alphas, it's not acceptable. So, for certain drills, like if I'm at like 10 yards, I won't allow myself to move back to 15 until I've achieved that 90% rate, on there, or done it multiple times in succession. Because, one, you need the hits, but also for me, that's just been like one of my bigger detriments for the years. Just I'm still new to minor power factor, so it took me a while to kind of get used to that. So that's been absolutely huge. And then I would say, to keep it short, the other biggest thing that I've added this year is my, I guess they're kind of combined, but my walkthroughs and my visualizations are much better and much more detailed, and I do a lot more of it. Like now, I would probably say most of the stages I probably have 20 or 30 either walkthroughs and or visualizations by the time I run it. And I've started, like if I'm 5 or 6 shooters out, like now, like when somebody else is going, like I'm standing behind there, I'll close my eyes and I'll air gun, I'll visualize, because my goal is I should be able to see every single target array from every position I'm going to shoot it with my eyes closed, just visualizing. If I can't do it, I need to walk it through again. It's not good enough. So doing that's been, getting better at doing that, and then just taking it much more seriously with the visualizations, and the walkthroughs on that. And then as far as my routine now, like when I'm in the hole on deck and then up to shoot. So obviously I'm still getting my last couple walkthroughs, last couple visualizations, getting the gun prepped, everything, put my pro grip on, whatever else. But then the other thing that I've added is, I don't know what the technical word is for it, but I call it queuing. So now, like once I'm up, once I make ready and the gun goes back in the holster or wherever it goes to start, like now I've started telling myself specifically, like, bring the gun in tight. I want the gun in tight to my face. So bring the gun in tight, grip it hard, shoot alphas, shoot alphas, shoot alphas. And I'll say that to myself during the make ready, and I think that's helped a lot. You know, because it kind of stemmed from, like, we probably all do it somewhat. It's like, you know, I could get done with the drill, and I'd be like, you know, God damn it, Lane, bring the fucking gun in tight. And I'd run it again, and I'd be like, I grip the fucking gun hard. What are you doing? Then the next time I shoot it, you know, a bunch of fucking Charlies and Deltas, like, shoot alphas, you know, fucking shoot alphas. Then it kind of hit me one day. I'm like, okay, instead of, you know, like, kind of treat yourself like a dog here. Like, instead of getting done with something and then basically trying to yell at myself and correct myself, why don't I try to preempt it? Like, when I walk up there, like, okay, tell myself exactly what I want from myself on this. Okay, I want to bring the gun in tight. I want to grip it hard. I want to shoot alphas. I'm like, okay, say that. So I think saying that, it's been good for cueing. And I also think what it's kind of led to is that now, like, because I have a very good visualization and like walk through and, you know, like final make ready, is that you can kind of fall back on that if something went wrong on the stage before, or if something, you know, happened or whatever. Like, you had a gun malfunction on stage before, you fell down, you had a shitty stage. You know, it started pouring rain, and so they, you know, you had to stop for a few minutes, or now all the targets are bagged up or whatever. Something changed, but now you can fall back on that make ready, on that, you know, stage prep process. Yeah, so I'd say those are kind of some of the main things for me. You know, if they're helpful for you guys, you know, cool. But remember, guys, only the hits count, and you can never miss fast enough to catch back up.